loans give more returns. Get more security and more interest on your fixed deposits from Sri Lanka's largest finance company, LOLC Finance.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? This child that you've delivered will soon deliver you. Mary, did you know?
Hi, I'm Dillai Joseph, and I will be answering Living's questions today for Living Gets Real.
Hi Dillai, welcome to Living Gets Real. It's wonderful to have you with us today in the studio. So let's get into the first question. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey and how you found yourself navigating the worlds of painting, music and creative direction?
Okay, so in this journey I would say the common element has always been creativity. So whether it was painting, music or creative direction, I would say the advertising part of things. Navigating that part in the three elements was not easy. It's just that you can't do every part in equal form. There are times that I might do a lot more painting, less of music, more of advertising. So it's been in not in that exact constants that I would have for every part, but I would say whatever that speaks to me, the area that speaks to me during that particular period, I would be in it.
All right, interesting. What initially sparked your passion for the arts and how do you decide to venture into both painting and advertising?
Okay, so my initial, I would say it sparked off from my childhood days. My grandfather was an artist and he encouraged a lot of creativity, and so did my mom. So I would say this whole arts and advertising and music, that all ran in our family. Of course, advertising was a professional part of things, but definitely arts and the music part of it. Doing both art and the advertising part, I would say go hand in hand. It's just that the advertising is more commercial oriented. You have a client in front of you, so you are catering to a marketing need. But whereas the arts, I would say I have a far more freer hand and I get to conceptualize things that matter to me, and when people resonate with what matters to me, it gives me a great joy.
Nice. Okay. So as a co-founder of The Next Big Thing, could you share the inspiration behind establishing the creative agency and your vision for its role in the industry?
That's an interesting question because so initially I was with the advertising agencies and then I had my kids. And after a while I found it quite difficult to be, having kids, managing them and being in advertising, because it's a very demanding job with very high stress deadlines. That's when I started looking out and I saw people like me who had the skill or the want to be in that, but if they were finding it difficult because they had to balance family life and advertising. So that's when I started Next Big Thing with my partner, who also had the same kind of issue where she was juggling children. So we started it because we realized that it's not that we can do 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 job of work. We can still do the number of hours, but we can sort of decide how we do the number of hours or more based on the deadline. So it's not that we had to report to a firm or report to a place. We could figure out how we are going to work, and technology too enabled it. Like for instance, WhatsApps to will say whether you're working on a cloud technology where you can log in, remote logging in, virtual way of working. So this sort of helped us to form Next Big Thing, where we thought, okay, there'll be a lot more people like us. So why not lose that resource? Why do you want to lose that resource? But rather find a working method, and then that's when we built a company that can actually encourage that working method, so that you can have a win-win. You can still be having a career, but at the same time you're able to manage your home front as well.
So technology has been your friend.
Definitely. And actually this was before COVID. So one thing interesting was that COVID really sort of sealed it and more or less helped everyone to understand this method of work. Where those days when we used to tell clients before COVID and they would ask, where are you working? And then we would say it's virtual. People would raise an eyebrow. But now if you say it's virtual, it has become the normal.
So it has become more like a necessity now,
Yes,
than it was before.
Yes.
Okay, right. So can you highlight some of your key milestones or achievements in your artistic and your professional journey, and that you are particularly proud of?
Okay. So in my artistic journey, I would say what I'm particularly proud of would be when I get to display my work, where the milestones would come in the form of exhibitions, and also when I can use my talent to communicate a message. Example, my last exhibition was actually based on the environment and how we need to conserve the environment. So I used my talent of art to portray the different ways of how we can conserve and how much we should appreciate nature. So therefore for me, I don't know whether to call it a milestone. It's almost like an opportunity that comes my way, and so many milestones are created in some way, is how I take it. And even from my professional side of things, I would say the milestone would be the day we formed this company. And also from that onwards, the journey that we have come up to now, and what clients have to talk about us, especially when they see results in their businesses or what they do, I would say that's when I feel, okay, I've come to some sort of a milestone.
Interesting, very nice. Okay, so in this journey, are there any artists or musicians or creative minds who have profoundly influenced your work or served as sources of inspiration?
Yes. So from an artistic perspective, I've always liked the classical side of art, the Renaissance period and some of the artists. So we'll say if it's Caravaggio or even Leonardo da Vinci, some of the techniques that they used in the form of light and shadow. And also the mixing of bringing some of those techniques into more contemporary modern situations. So those are places that I like when it's fused. But I constantly do gravitate towards the Renaissance artists. I must say I'm a little old-fashioned when it comes to my favorite artists, because I learn a lot of techniques from them. I may use it in a more modern style. When it comes to maybe music, that too I like how the classics are turned even into more contemporary. One artist that I really like is Freddie Mercury. Something like Bohemian Rhapsody. I mean, if you really look at that particular piece, you see there's so much of that classical part in it, but he has built in that whole creativity and brought in that modern element into it. So I feel there's a lot of thinking that has gone into it, more crafting, and it's much more fun. And also it's not just coming up with some quick thing, it's all about thinking and fusing and more creativity gone into it.
I think this song Bohemian Rhapsody came up a few shows quite often as well, because that's something that a lot of people like.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so to the final question. How do you envision the future of the next big thing? And what goals do you hope to achieve in the coming years?
Okay, so for the next big thing, how I would envision is that our ethos has been to really be part of brands and make a difference with the brands and to be effective. So creativity that works, not for the sake of being creative. So we want to grow with the brands. We are not constantly looking into big brands or say, okay, we are only into niche brands, but rather brands that are open or communication solutions that are needed so that it can be seen in a different light. So want to be part of that journey. So that is form of next big thing. Yeah, so as an artist, what I really want to be part of is that I communicate something to the world. I want to leave something using my art. So whether it's to talk about the environment, whether it's to talk about school bullying, whether it's to talk about anything that matters right now, and I use my art in the form maybe to start a conversation or start a discussion, that's what I want to keep doing in the future. So I have done projects like even my did some work with the National Olympic Committee on the coral reef restoration. So that too, I used my talent or the work that I do in the form of art to showcase why we need to restore corals. So like that, there are so many issues. I mean, I think we have quite a lot of issues in this world, but it's a matter of picking some of these things and using what I do and making sure I communicate something through that.
Nice. Okay. So you've come to the end of segment 1, which is the questions, and we will see you back on segment 2, which is a fun little game we have in store for you today. Hi Dillai, so welcome back to the show, and we are about to get into the game that we have for you. So what we have for you today is 21 questions. Some of them are absolutely silly. So let's see how creative your answers are going to be, since you are a creative person. Okay, so question number 1. What's the strangest thing in your refrigerator?
I would say super glue.
Okay, so now you know where to find the glue.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite toy growing up?
Actually, I didn't much like toys, but I loved my Bada pillow. So that was like my toy and everything.
Your Bada pillow?
Yeah, that's my huggy pillow. Okay. So I used to call it Bada pillow.
Alright, okay. What's the funniest way you've ever broken the law?
Funniest way? I would say I would have tried to avoid the cop by most probably like faking some illness, and then that I really needed to rush somewhere because I'm not feeling well, and to become a total drama queen. And I think the cop got fed up of me and let me go.
So if you could erase one event from history, which one would you erase?
This is quite embarrassing really. Once I went for in school, we used to wear underskirts, and whenever there are guys passing by, when you go near a boys' school, you don't want anything embarrassing happening. And that particular day, the elastic came off, so that was quite embarrassing to hold on to my skirt and go.
So who do you most like to poke fun at?
I would say my husband, because he's quite good at taking it. So I constantly want to, push it to see what his edge is.
So if you were suddenly transported to another planet, How would you assess the situation?
Okay, being an artist, I think first I would see how colorful it is. And then I think before even breathing, I'll most probably want a good looking planet.
If you could use one word for the rest of your life, what word would you choose?
Sleep.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you've been given an elephant.
Okay.
You can't get rid of it. What do you do with it?
Well, I would most probably try to make it my large pet. Yeah.
In your house. I'm sure your husband will find it very funny.
I know he would. It's just that I don't know. He'll have to figure out where they are all going to stay.
If you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, what would you say?
I would say stop polluting. That's something that really gets to me.
What's the funniest thing you've seen on the news?
I think when the parliament is on, it's quite funny.
If you could be best friends with a celebrity, who would it be and why?
I used to have a huge crush on Gerard Butler. So why? I guess I'll just want to just look at him. I mean, there's not even a why.
That's what they call it, a crush. Okay.
Yeah.
How can you tell if someone has a sense of humor?
I think it's when they make me laugh.
If you were to name your own song, what would you name it?
I would say On My Own.
Okay, I thought it would be something with sleep. Okay.
I was going to say Sleep, then I thought it's
Too
being
obvious.
repetitive. Yes, I thought you might say Sleep as well.
What is the strangest thing in your bag right now?
Strangest thing.
Don't tell me it's glue because it's in the fridge.
It's not glue. I would say a plug base.
Okay. What's the strangest thing that you've ever fallen in love with? A thing, not a person.
Okay, a thing. I would say a book, but I know a book is too boring, right? But most probably I would say as a thing. Oh, when I was a kid, I think it is my Bada pillow.
Alright, okay. So, how much does the amount of traffic affect your mood?
Traffic is okay if I'm not in a hurry. If I'm in a hurry, yes, then I do want to, I'm in a bad mood because I need to get to that place. But otherwise, traffic can be relaxing because it sort of is a forceful way of slowing you down.
Nice, that's a nice one. Okay. So, what's your worst habit?
I think I go to the loo and spend quite a long time, to the point that the people who want to come to the loo, they have to keep knocking on the door.
Okay. So, how do you think the world would be different if bananas were illegal?
I don't mind it.
Okay. Would you rather be able to control time or be able to know what other people are thinking?
Okay, I would say maybe able to know what other people are thinking. I do not want to control time because it's not like I want to turn back so much, nothing like that. But definitely what other people are thinking is interesting because it might help me with my next exhibition on, ideas on how I can put those thoughts into a painting.
What talent would you want to possess if you could? Something that you don't have.
Fly.
Okay, wow. To avoid the traffic.
Avoid the traffic and when I want to have my me time.
Okay.
And then, so I think flying is something that I like.
So you go to a restaurant and your food is bad. Would you say something?
Yes, I would. My daughter calls me a Karen. And so, yes, definitely I would.
Okay. Right, the last question. If you were in a room filled with you, your doppelganger, and $2 million, what would you do?
I would say, I don't know whether I would do anything. I'll most probably think about what I would be doing. I think I'll most probably have the $2 million.
Okay. And put that into your paintings.
Yes. Buy
All
art
right.
material. It's very expensive now.
Okay. You'll buy art materials but no bananas.
Yes, yes.
All right, okay. So you've come to the end of segment 2. Thank you, Dillai, for being on the show. It was great to have you with us with your creative answers that you gave for the questions.
Thanks so much, Tanya.
Okay.
I had fun. There you have it. These are my answers to the questions and the game. Be sure to check out Livin's Instagram and Facebook pages for the latest episodes of Living Gets Real.